Hey everybody, prepare for a bit more of an off-the-cuff video than you might be used to here on this channel. I don't have any script ready, I don't even have notes for this one, I'm just gonna wing it and hope I get everything right on the first go. Watch me horribly fail at that. About 3 weeks ago, I went to TooManyGames 2018 in the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. This was my fourth straight TooManyGames, and at least so far, it was the most special to me by far, and I'll get into the reasons for that in a little bit. For those of you that may not have gone to a gaming convention yet, you're essentially in a big warehouse, chock full of games, game vendors, YouTubers, a bunch of nerds who love video games, and in the case of TooManyGames, there's even a food court now, and as there was in the past couple years, there's also an arcade stock full of a bunch of arcade cabinets, and Smash tournaments, and even Overwatch tournaments now. It's a big old weekend of just fun and chaos and sweat, and I really can't say anything but good things about it. It's an awesome time every year, and as soon as we're done with TooManyGames, I immediately start looking forward to TooManyGames the next year. It's the only convention I go to, as of right now at the very least. Before I get into who I met, and I'm going to keep all of this brief because there's a lot more of the video at the back end of this, I want to talk about the reason why this was the best TooManyGames yet for me. And that is because, thanks to two very gracious people, I was a panelist on two different panels this year at TooManyGames, and it still hasn't really set in for me, even though I've watched the video of myself on a panel. For those of you that may be unaware, at these gaming conventions or Comic Cons or conventions in general, there are a lot of panel events where you'll sit in a crowd and you'll watch either a bunch of actors from a TV show like The Walking Dead or whatever, or in the case of these smaller conventions, a YouTuber who may be known for going there every year, talk about either their works or do a Q&A session. Anything you can think of, there's probably a panel for it. And thanks to two very gracious people, I was a guest on two different panels this year. The first one that asked me is actually the second panel in terms of chronology, but Sam Norton asked me to join him for his Wrestling and Gaming, a Crossover of Fans panel. So this was a panel where we talked about our favorite wrestlers, our favorite video games, our favorite wrestling events, and all that fun stuff. And yes, it's professional wrestling, the fake stuff. Judge me all you want, I don't care. And then we talk about how wrestling and video game audiences tend to overlap and how these two mediums are intertwined in many ways. How wrestling has influenced gaming, and more recently, gaming has influenced wrestling. And it wasn't just me and Sam on this panel either. In addition, we had Kara, who's a really awesome person. I met her for the first time this year at TooManyGames. If you watch FTCR or Brain Scratch or any of those, that massive super crew of friends who all just hang out and talk YouTube and games and stuff, she's sort of part of that crew, and it was really cool meeting her. And closing out our group for that panel was Elliot, also known as Creepy Elliot on Twitter and YouTube, and perhaps better known for being one of the key members of the Super Gaming Brothers Let's Play channel, featuring Some Call Me Johnny, Elliot, and their friend Matt. And again, I met him for the first time this TooManyGames as well, and as you can see, if you watch Super Gaming Brothers or any of Johnny's old reviews that had Elliot in it, he's an awesome dude. It was really cool meeting him and chatting with him for the time that we did. I wish I could show you that panel because that was a ton of fun, but sadly it wasn't filmed for one reason or another. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I know it was supposed to be filmed, but maybe plans fell through or something. Either way, not a big deal, but it was really cool to be a part of that panel, and I had a lot of fun, and that was my Sunday panel. The second panel I was on, as I mentioned earlier, and as you're going to see in a little bit, was with my buddy Blade Blur. He invited me onto his panel titled Multiplayer in Sonic Games, and this panel goes over the different multiplayer modes in the mainline Sonic franchise. So, the multiplayer modes, for example, in Sonic 2, or Sonic 3, or Sonic Adventure 2. And that panel was filmed, and that's actually the back chunk of this video. That last about an hour of this video is going to be that panel, so I'll timestamp it here if you want to skip right to that, but you'll get to it eventually anyway. And very quickly, before we move on to the next section of this video, I want to talk about some of the people I met and give some shout-outs if I can in some way. If I forget you, I am sorry. Like I said, I'm not scripting this in any way, so I'm just going off the cuff. Like I said, I got to meet Blade Blur for the first time. We actually just missed one another last year at TooManyGames. We sort of became friends right after the event, and it turns out we both went and just never saw each other. So it was really, really cool meeting him and doing the panel with him and meeting all of his friends. They were all really cool people. It was awesome meeting them. I didn't get a chance to talk to them or him as much as I wish I could have, but that's how these conventions seem to go. I got a chance to run into Some Call Me Johnny and Ant Dude this year as well, like most years. I always see Some Call Me Johnny there. He's essentially the heart and soul of Too Many Games. So many people go just specifically to meet him, and it's always cool catching up with him and saying, hey, how are you? And I got to thank him for the New Tubers podcast that he joined me for last year when I got a chance to talk to him about his channel and his journey through YouTube, which was really cool. And again, I got to say Ant Dude as well. Always an awesome dude. We always chat for such a long time about such random stuff. And he's going to be making an appearance on the NewTubers podcast as well in a similar capacity. So stay tuned for that on the NewTubers YouTube channel. And then for the first time, I got to meet a bunch of other people that I hadn't met before. So, for example, I ran into Game Dave, James from Stuff We Play. He's been on this channel before. He actually introduced me to Game Dave's content, and God, his editing is just awesome. If you haven't watched his stuff, he's right now I think he's at like 50,000 subscribers. Go give him a watch. He is such an awesome creator. So it was cool chatting with him, and he's such a personable guy. Really fun to talk to for the brief time I did. For those of you that watch my +1 videos, I know this might be a longer video than you're normally used to, but you may know the next person I'm talking about, and that's not the Bees. He's the other PS Plus free game reviewer guy. We actually had the idea to do those PS Plus reviews independently in the same month. Not even the same month, really. The same week. My video came out, and then I posted it on Reddit. And a few days later, he posted his as well. And he even said in the comments of that Reddit thread, oh man, I had the exact same idea. So we've both been like mutual fans of one another pretty much ever since then. So it was cool to meet him in person. And he just moved to, I think, the Philly area. So it was cool meeting him and just kind of talking and resuming our rivalry over the Shovel Knight and Spectre Knight, which one is better and all that fun stuff. I also, at the very tail end of my Too Many Games experience, ran into that Trav guy. He was somebody who is on Ant Dude's Discord server, and we meant to meet up over the course of the weekend and just kind of say hi, and then we kept missing one another until Sunday. I found him, and I slapped him in the face because he told me to slap him if I saw him, so I did, and he was confused. But he's a really cool dude. It was really cool meeting him. I'm glad I got a chance to say hi. Again, he does YouTube as well, so go watch his stuff. All the people that I mentioned in some way have probably done YouTube or do YouTube, so go check them out at some point, not right now. Finish watching my video first, please. The last person I can think of, I'm hoping I'm not forgetting somebody, was JDub the Gamer. I don't know if that's his YouTube handle or if he has another one. That's his Discord handle, but he's another person who I know through Discord who I got to meet for the first time. And we started talking about YouTube and all that gaming stuff. And he's a really cool dude. I got to give him some advice on like microphone settings and basic YouTube tagging and all that stuff that you guys don't care about, but we all need to worry about here on YouTube. So it was cool meeting him. And then there was one other person that I met that wasn't a YouTuber as far as I know. I didn't catch his name. It was right after the panel that you're going to see in just a little while. I just bumped my table, so you probably heard that. Deal with it. There was this guy that came up, and he started talking to me, and it was really loud in the room, and I was in this post panel daze because I was so nervous trying to make sure I didn't say anything stupid or anything. But he said that he found me through Mykonos Fan, who I did the Spyro video with. And I didn't catch his name, but I wish I did because I really wanted to thank him here. He was the first person that I met at a gaming convention that was a fan almost. Like that's the best way I can put it, is that he specifically wanted to say hi because he watches my stuff and he wanted to tell me that he likes my stuff. And that was so weird. Good weird, like not bad weird in any way. It was just surreal weird that happened to me because the last time I was at Too Many Games I had I think like 400 subscribers, and now I'm obviously near the 4,000 subscriber mark, which I know I just dated this video for anyone watching later, but yeah, it was just really cool, and I had to take a minute to just kind of take that in, and I didn't see him anywhere else at the convention, and I really wish I did. But, if you watch this video, pop up in the comments, because I want to thank you personally again for saying hi. Okay, so I'm nearing the 10-minute mark according to my recording here. So the next part of this video is our hauls for Too Many Games. So it's myself, Justin, Jake, and Nico. Those three, for those of you that have been longtime fans of the series, they've all been in videos somewhere on the Golden Bolt. So you'll recognize at least, all of them. But we all go over all. We all go over. I can't say words. We all go over our hauls. I'm leaving all of this in for what we got at Too Many Games, and I show some pictures and all that stuff. So check that out, and I can show you what I got, and you might see some future video material in there. So without further ado, here's our hauls.
My name is Justin. I was in the Catherine video. I didn't buy too much this year at Too Many Games. I'm not usually a huge buyer. I'm not as big as Kevin, but I did pick up some things I've wanted for a while. Picked up a copy of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance for the Xbox. Back compatible now, so I figured now would be a good time to jump into it. Plus it's sealed, so it came with the soundtrack, so I thought that was a pretty snazzy deal. I grabbed this GameCube controller. It's the purple one with the clear back. These are kind of hard to come by, and because it's a little bit banged up, the guy told me he would give it to me for a discount. So I was like, you know what, I'll doctor it up and make it look a little bit better. And then finally, I picked up a in-box copy of Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. This game has never been localized. It has never been in English. And I have a collection of Fire Emblem games. I have all the ones that have been localized, so getting started on the Japanese stuff. So yeah, that's my haul from Too Many Games this year.
I got a Luigi!
Alright, so I've been on a bit of a Transformers binge lately. I played through the movie games and the War for Cybertron games, so I decided to get Transformers Devastation. So I figured that's going to be pretty cool. Might as well cap it off with that.
Fuck you, Megatron!
I agree completely. At the same time I bought that one, that was a very last minute purchase. I also bought this game right here called Bound by Flame. You are a mercenary possessed by a flame demon in desperate world ravaged by 7 ice lords and their dead army. You can quote me on that. And it's made by the guys that made a game called Technomancer, which was surprisingly fun, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Why not? And the other PS4 game, I got 3 PS4 games. The other one I got is East Origin, which is a limited run game. If you guys are familiar with that, it's the 82nd game by the look of it. And I'd never heard of the series before. Apparently it dates all the way back to the Famicom, and then as soon as Bolt mentioned it, we found it everywhere, so I decided to get it. The only other game that I got at Too Many Games is Naruto Gekito Ninja Taisen.
Get the fuck out.
So I got Naruto. I got the Naruto. It's Clash of Ninja 4. I liked them on GameCube. They were really good, but the third and fourth one didn't come over here. Then they had the third one there too. And then I checked the price on eBay, said fuck that because I found it packaged with the first and second game for like $20 cheaper, so I bought that. Instead, I also got this little pixel boy, Frog, from Chrono Trigger, because he's the best and you can fight me on that. But not too hard, I'm a sensitive boy. I also went to Valley Forge and King of Prussia Mall, which was cool, and I got this Valley Forge pin, because I'm a nerd, and I got all of this fake paper money from the original 13 colonies, and I'm going to spend that. I'm not going to spend that. I also have a brochure right here. It has a map. I like it a lot. I went on the tour. There was a Squiggle Road. I got a Master Sword CD. I don't know what the band is. I listened to like 15 seconds of their music and I thought it was pretty decent. It was $5. How could I say no to that? And then Game Dave gave me some free stuff and I liked that. He was a cool guy. He's a teacher like me. And I also got this limited run badge and that made me happy for a few minutes. I got 2 decks of playing cards.
Okay, so Okay, so first thing on my list that I got this year was a bunch of PS2 games. First thing first was Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves on PS2. The reason I got this is I actually don't have Sly 3 on PS2 anymore. I think I traded it in.
but it also happened to come with the Sly 3 3D goggles that were only used for like 5 missions in the game. So I wanted to get them. I wanted to do a video with these on, but I already did the video, so too late for that. Next on my list is the Capcom Classics Collection Volume 2. This is another game I loved as a kid, and I think I traded it in to GameStop or something at some point. But maybe I'll do a video on that one day. The next 2 games and the last 2 PS2 games on my list are the first 2 Onimusha games, Onimusha 1 and 2. This was a series my brother played the hell out of it as a kid, and I remember seeing parts of it, and I kind of wanted to get them, so I only got 1 and 2. I didn't get 3. 4 was too expensive, and there were some other games there that I didn't find, so I'll start with the first 2. Next on the list is Secret Agent Clank on the PSP. It's actually a sealed copy on the PSP, so that was really cool. This is the last Ratchet & Clank physical game that I don't own. I own it on PS2, but I don't own it on PSP, so now I can say for the first time I have every Ratchet & Clank game on every platform physically. So I guess that's cool. And then I also got East Origin. I got it before Jake, but he showed up before me on camera, so he's going to take the credit for it, so fuck you. And that's my PlayStation list. And then after that, I got... I'll save that for later. I got Blue Dragon on the Xbox 360. It's a heavy game. What the hell is in here? Oh, it's got a full manual and map and shit. Nice. I didn't know that. I just bought it because Xbox exclusive, so I wanted to get it, and I can play it on Xbox One. Read a lot about this one in Game Informer or Game Pro at some point way back when. So, yeah, I wanted to finally pick that up. And I got Black on the original Xbox. This game is an awesome little shooter. I don't really know how to describe it, except for that's total, absolute chaos. And it plays on Xbox One, and apparently it's beautiful on Xbox One, so I had to get this. And then finally, onto my Nintendo list. I got the Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, which we're going to hopefully play this next year at TooManyGames. All 4 of us, that'll be awesome. I picked up Metroid Samus Returns. It's actually sealed. I paid full price for it. But I actually bought Mario and Sonic at the 2014 Olympic Games on Wii U for $35, and then I realized that was the wrong game. I didn't want that one. So I gave it back to them, and they were nice enough to give me this for the extra $5. So that was cool. I didn't buy Mario Odyssey. I already had it, but it's signed by Charles Martinet now, so that's really cool. I have that, and I obviously won't trade this in to GameStop or anything. I don't trade any games to GameStop anymore. Now I have a job and actual money. The last game, not the last game I bought, but this was actually given to me by my good friend Blade Blur. He gave it to me. It's Poi Extended Edition, or Explorer Edition. I don't know much about this game, but he said he wanted me to have it, so I'll probably do something on this too when it's one day. So that's cool. I also got some pins from Game Dave and Limited Run, like Jake did. Again, I got them first, but he's fucking stupid. So, and I also got this neat little Console Wars pin. These guys I met at the convention. They do these interesting retrospective review comparisons of games that were on both the Genesis and the SNES. So give them a look. That's really cool. That almost stabbed me. I don't want to be stabbed. All cool people there. Limited Run, Game Dave, and Console Wars. So check them out. And if you follow me on Twitter, you already saw this. I hate my life.
Is this thing working on? Is this working good? It is. Hello. Too Many Games 2018. How is it going? There we go. My mouse was haunted, I guess, by the ghost of Knuckles or something like that. Hello everyone. Welcome to this panel about multiplayer in Sonic games. And I was really mad before coming in because they did not capitalize the G in games. So I made sure it's bold, and there's an underline, and it's also italicized, so then you know it's games.
Yes.
Anyway, my name is Blade Blur. I am making videos on YouTube about anything related to our favorite Blue Blur, which, by the way, today, I'm not sure if you all know this, but Sonic is officially 27 years old!
crises.
Yes.
6 depends on what country you're from. So I'm Layler, and my co-host here is the Golden Bolt.
Hi, my name's Kevin. I'm the Golden Bolt on YouTube, Twitter, everywhere else. I do game reviews as well. So, yeah, check it out.
Woo!
So we're just gonna go ahead and just give you a very brief history of all the multiplayer modes in different Sonic games, and it's not really been much of a Q&A panel, but if you always have a question you want to chime in, you'll be more than welcome to answer your burning Sonic questions if there's any. There are just pretty much one main rule for this whole panel, which is we're only gonna focus on multiplayer modes in Sonic games. So the majority of the games we're gonna talk about are basically games that usually have the main adventure, but then it's like there's also like attack in multiplayer modes. So for example, not stuff like Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform, no Sonic Shuffle, and sadly no Sonic R. I know some of you maybe want me to talk about it, but I'm very sorry. Do you have any experience with any of those guys yourself?
With the multiplayer ones,
Yeah.
I absolutely love Racing Transform. That was my favorite car racing game until Mario Kart 8. Like, every other Mario Kart out of the water for me. Sonic R, I don't talk about, so I'm not going to talk about it. I think I have Sonic Shuffle somewhere, but I played it once, and that's all I need.
Yeah, Sonic Shuffle is really weird because that's the only game like Sonic game for the Dreamcast that's just for the Dreamcast. So you actually have to buy that system to play it.
Yeah.
If you don't have a Dreamcast, you should look at the dealer's hall and get yourself a Dreamcast. That system is amazing. But if you just want to hear like my very quick review in each one of them, so pretty much right here, great out of 10, boring out of 10, and can you feel the sunshine out of 10? Let us go ahead and start talking about Sonic 2. That's going to be our very first stop.
Oh.
So,
We're very professional. We have our notes
Yes.
on our phones.
Very nice.
I've done this all the time, as you could probably tell. So, Sonic 2 came out all the way back in 1992, pretty much Sonic's main, second main game, you can say. I've obviously used Sonic Genesis Collection to get the footage here. And as we play this, oh no, technical difficulties, no! Now it went back, oh no!
So the gist of Sonic 2's multiplayer
Go ahead.
was you would play a two-player competitive mode. You guys can hear me in the back, right? I don't need this.
Yeah.
It's a two-player multiplayer mode across 4 main levels. There are 5 different ways you can win. There's the timed mode, so if you win the race faster. There's the actually the most rings you have, and the rings you have by the overall end of the stage, the total amount of rings you collected, and the final one is how many, like your score with the item boxes and whatnot. So that's the main way you would play Sonic 2's multiplayer. Like I said, there are only 4 stages in it, but the stages are actually pretty fun for the most part. I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't play much of Sonic 2's multiplayer, but for what it was actually really impressive at the time, considering the best we had of Mario was a competitive 1-player, 2-player lives mode.
And the remixed songs too.
Oh yeah, and different songs. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Woo!
I think overall I like the choices that they made for the stages for Sonic 2. I mean, I would like to see Chemical Plant Zone. I think that level would have been a really cool for like multiple, because I could see why not everything could have been chosen. Because some levels are more labyrinthy, I guess you could say, in their design, actually.
Yeah.
But why is this not working now? Oh man.
It's just as broken as a Sonic game.
Good thing I handle things way there we go. I can do it actually this way. There we go, yay! Just have to look over there and then I can just do it that way. So just to give you a little bit of a sampler here, right here. Not coming through the, can you hear the music okay? I guess it's not super essential in this sense.
Put the mic up to it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. Sure? So just to kind of give you, the one thing about Sonic 2's multiplayer, there's a few aspects I just want to address before we move on to the next game. The first thing is that there's obviously a life system, not sure how easy this to see, but each one of the characters has a set amount of lives. So when you actually run out of all of your lives, what happens is that everything basically just ends. So if I go, for example, like right here.
Come on, die. Die.
Die, die, die,
Die, die, die,
There.
die.
what basically happens in this case, it just basically says to you right there, no game. Like
Yeah.
the game is over completely,
Default.
and then it just sets you back to the beginning of the multiplayer. So imagine you play like 3 out of the 4 stages, and then someone just dies, and then
Start over.
start over.
Deal with
like,
it.
Like deal with it. I mean, I appreciate what it did for Sonic games. It's the very first multiplayer
Yeah,
game, so
I give it credit.
it's really cool what they did with the technology at the time.
Yeah.
But it's obviously very primal in its design. So
Yeah. It's
But-
very, as you can tell, it's very compressed when you have 2 screens right on top of one another. Not the prettiest way to play Sonic 2 by any means. But again, it's passive. You know, for what it is, it's passive.
yeah, definitely is. I'm actually going to go ahead and actually have this play in the background. Casino Night Zone is basically one of my favorite stages to play in multiplayer, this for sure. It's one of my favorite Sonic stages by all time.
Yeah.
I just adore it to death.
So pretty.
So one of the stages of the 4 stages we have is actually the special stage.
Right.
You want to jump to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. The special stages in Sonic 2, I'm not sure how many of you guys have played Sonic 2, but how it works is that when both characters are there together, one is at the front, the other's at the back.
Lots of
So
jumping.
what basically happens in this specific situation, and I promise you this is gonna be audio bliss, is basically this. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let this speak for itself.
Oh.
Once it
It's so
we paused,
ashamed.
We paused it, so that's actually an actual thing. Stop! There we go.
For the record, this is not me playing. I would be much worse. I promise.
Like the whole idea is that you always like combat who's gonna be the first,
Yep.
and it's
Oh
really
yeah.
what they could have done. What do you think they could have done to like remedy this, for example, to prevent this from happening?
Not make it.
Sorry. Good point.
2 separate screens.
Yeah.
I mean, in our world, probably we could have done that. It would have been cool like, if maybe both characters can be like on one plane. That could have maybe worked, but
The collision detection would have been weird if you had 2.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you could like phase through. I guess I don't know. It's tough, but
I don't know how you would have done it any better than this with the way, with the Genesis hardware, really.
yeah,
That's the best
absolutely.
we would have had.
And here's the thing too, so obviously as you guys probably all know, each level in Sonic 2 has 2 acts. So let's have a scenario, for example, let's say player 1 wins the first act, player 2 wins the second act. What do you think happens when that happens? You need a tiebreaker, right?
No, it's game over.
No, you, well, you get a game over, but you actually get a tiebreaker. Do you want to know what actually happens when a tiebreaker occurs?
You go to hell before you die.
That's the third thing that happens. So there we go. What's gonna happen? Nothing. Besides nothing.
Yep. Yep. And it's Yep.
And to add more insult to injury, when you go to the special stage and one person wins the first special stage and the other person wins the second special stage, the tiebreaker for that is a third special
Oh wait, it's
An infinite loop that you can't escape over and over again.
stage. Yeah, follow me, we'll escape from this city. That's Oh yeah, I mean honestly, I still enjoy Sonic 2 like sometimes just to have fun with friends. It's primal, but I still personally have fun with it. Shut up, Sega. So yeah, that's basically my impression of it. Next up is probably my favorite Sonic game of all time. Not my favorite game of all time is Sonic 3. And before you ask, that's the creepy European cover art for it. I have no idea why Knuckles looks like this. I never got that. But it's kind of charming. I grew up in Israel, actually. Fun story.
Oh.
And that's actually why I'm familiar with this cover art. That's like one of the first games I've ever gotten as a child, so I have a special attachment to that creepy cover art. Do you have any experience with Sonic 3 yourself?
Yes, so I actually didn't play Sonic 3.
Oh, the mic's working?
Yeah, I'm loud.
Good.
I actually played Sonic 3 for the first time only about 3 or 4 years ago. I wasn't a huge Sonic guy. Well, actually, my first game was Sonic 1, but I didn't know that for most of my life. I was in diapers playing it, and I just repressed that memory. So, Sonic 3, I hadn't played until I played 3 and Knuckles. Actually, I got my Genesis here at TooManyGames a few years ago, and I got Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and fell in love with and Knuckles. I actually don't like Sonic 3 that much. Like everyone loves Sonic 3, I like the and Knuckles side more. But that's
Yeah, the problem with the Sonic 3 portion of it is that a lot of the levels are like drenched in water. So a lot of the times you always have to look for like, air bubbles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
the end Knuckles portion, as I like to call it, is very dry, I guess, in comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally dry. There's like almost no water in it, I
7
would
out
say.
of 10,
So,
too much water.
which is kind of makes it more balanced. So
Sorry.
it's fine. So how the Sonic 3 multiplayer works, I just want to go ahead and kind of go to the very beginning of it.
Fault.
I'm always at fault. I don't even have to go through this all that much. Basically, you have two characters at the start sign. You kind of have to loop through the same level 5 times. And before anyone asks, they play exactly the same. There's no different like gameplay mechanics to either Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. It's pretty much just jump and that's it. The interesting thing about it though is that this is the first time you can actually play as Knuckles like anywhere, technically.
yeah.
Because Knuckles was only playable from the Knuckles
that's
like
true.
expansion, so it's kind of disappointing because the first time you play as Knuckles and it's
Just
like
other Sonic.
it's like a Sonic skin essentially, yeah. Which is kind of a shame. Then I go ahead and like jump to like another level.
So he can't fly in those?
No, Knuckles can't fly. It's just the exact same controls as Sonic.
Exactly, yeah.
I think Tails can fly.
Not in this mode, unfortunately. He can fly in the regular single
In
player.
regular Sonic 3, Knuckles has his own, his regular dreadlocks flying thing.
Well, basically, yeah. There are also some, I'm just gonna address this very quickly. There are also some power-ups as well, like you have like speed shoes and you have like slow shoes. Basically, you have the speed shoes, you win, you have the slow shoes, you lose automatically, like there's no contest. And that's kind of all I have to say about Sonic 3. I mean, I love the game, but I will be the first to admit that multiplayer was kind of thrown together last moment sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's cute for an experiment, but that's all it really is.
Yeah, I've actually never played the Sonic 3 multiplayer. I've seen a lot of footage of it, and actually, that's not true. I played it once by myself. I had another controller plugged in. And again, I played it once, so I didn't need to play it again.
Did you actually have to like, do this together? Like with the controllers holding
No,
together
I
at the
just
same
played the
time?
one player and just let it happen.
Yes.
You guys gotta admit though, the competition music at the menu.
I do like it a lot personally.
That's a good song.
I do honestly think like a lot of the levels, like in all of them of that competition, are excellent. A lot of them were composed by Jun Sonoe, who also composed Sonic Adventure 1 and 2's music, and many other Sonic games, of course. So I will definitely give this. Music in the competition levels is excellent. That I'll never take that away.
Most music in
That's why they decided to reuse it in Sonic Generation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's skip a generation and we'll go to today's Sonic's 27th birthday. Let's go to his 10th birthday now. And probably talk about like the biggest game of them all, Sonic Adventure 2. Here we go. So with this one here, I'm kind of dividing this into two groups because basically the original version on the Dreamcast, yes, Sonic Adventure 2, for those of you who don't know, was not originally a GameCube game. It was actually on the Dreamcast. Fun story. Wow. I know, right? Let's put it this way. Battle is a much better multiplayer game all around. Like, it has more levels, more characters, you name it. But the Dreamcast version is the only version where you get to play as Big the Cat in a mech. Now, how can you choose? I mean, like, obviously, you have to go with the Dreamcast version in this case.
It's a tough choice.
Like, he doesn't actually fish in this one. Like, you don't have to worry about fish control. You just get Big in his big glory. It's gloriously big. Exactly. But let's get to the main presentation here, which is pretty much Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, the real multiplayer of Sonic 2, which I got to admit, they really went above and beyond with the GameCube port because they added just a lot of multiplayer content. This is the Xbox version, ignore that part, but let's talk about, first of all, the multiplayer mode that like no one ever talks about. And that would be, of course, the kart racing.
Oh my god.
What was the question? Why would you want to talk about that? Are you asking why would you want to talk about the kart racing? Okay, let's move on next actually then.
Oh my god.
Oh, you're the
So, I'm gonna have this play in the background. How this basically works, you have 4 characters. You have Tails, Eggman, regular Chow, and Dark Chow, which replaced Big. I know you all sad. We'll have condolences later on. And basically, you're just in the regular big stage. You just pretty much have to shoot each other repetitively, which is great fun, you can say. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that Adventure 2 also added like special stages specifically just for multiplayer. And one of them is specifically in the shooting races, where you have like this very tiny arena, and you have to go from one end to the next, and you have to basically blow barricades the whole time. So I don't know how many of you played Sonic Adventure 2, but do you know that sound that the machines make when you shoot? Well, I want to apologize for everyone in advance, but... That brings me back to my land of Israel, and that's a lullaby my mom sang to me.
Crush 40 really knocked it out of the park.
They did.
What, they knocked it out of the
That's my
park?
favorite Johnny Gioeli song of all time, right there. Why move on? Do you have any kind of like experience you had with Sonic 2?
With Adventure 2?
Yeah.
Not really. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, there's even like a segment actually. All of the multiplayer arenas for the shooting levels are actually open, except for this, which is decided to actually make it split screen, and you cannot see anything at all. Of course, in the darkest level in the whole game, Lost Colony. Great job deciding that. I don't know what they were thinking about that. It is. I mean, shooting level-wise, I would say probably the worst level. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Have you played Meteor Herd?
Shooting levels. That's just about shooting levels. Trust me, I don't like Meteor Herd. I'm with you. I actually prefer math-based with Meteor Herd.
Yeah.
Okay, I was speaking of like that stuff. Let's go ahead and actually go ahead and move and talk about the treasure hunting stages. Honestly, there's not really much to this. It's like the regular Knuckles stages that you're just pretty much looking for the emerald pieces, Chaos Emeralds, and all that stuff. So there's that. You get to play as Chaos from Sonic Adventure 1, which I guess that's cool. Not much to say. Like, do you have any kind of?
This is the reason I didn't play much of Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because as a kid, I actually got all 180 emblems in the Dreamcast version and the GameCube version. But the HD version, I kind of gave up with these.
I don't blame you.
I just couldn't go and like go to the cryptic TVs that give you the most random hints.
I've said it. It's been said 1,000 times, but I'm okay with this in Sonic Adventure 1. I don't love it. In SA2, it's just not my cup of tea. The way they changed how the collecting works, and you have to do them essentially in order you can do them afterwards. It's a pain.
Oh my god. Honestly, security is probably one of my favorite levels of the game.
It is.
Security Hall?
Yeah, absolutely.
He has the 5-minute time limit, but it's built around it.
Well, let's go ahead and actually talk about like the main portion of the multiplayer, which is the actual Sonic vs. Shadow. We want to see the actual racing part. Like that's the real meat of the multiplayer, I would say. Kind of like the same thing they did with the shooting levels. They also made some exclusive levels for the multiplayer as well too. One of them, for example, is the grind race, which is the level Pyramid Cave, only with like just a rail section. So how this works is actually very complicated. Whoever presses B the best wins. That's literally all this is. You see this like right now. It just tells you to crouch, and that's it. You have to like flick the analog here and there, but that's pretty much all you do the entire time. It looks cool, I'll give it that, but that's really all it is.
Yeah, another good noise.
Also, if you like the sound of that's your game.
How about that real switch?
But the thing I don't want to talk about.
Bye, Amy.
Bye. Let's just hear it fall. Amy. It makes me happy to hear Amy fall for that. And I'll tell you the reason why. How the racing works in Sonic Adventure 2 is that you get a special power-up every 20 rings you collect. So the first 20 you get a boost. The second 20 you get an attack, and the third you get like a cast control where you stop your character. Amy is the slowest out of all the 4 like racing characters, Sonic, Shadow, and Metal Sonic, but she gets hair power-ups every 10 rings. Now this might not sound like a big deal, in theory, but just watch. This basically is what happened when you just abuse Amy's full potential, as I like to call it.
Oh my god.
Of course, this is. There we go.
That's the self-control.
It's a long level.
It's a long level, yeah.
It's a very long level.
Yeah, it's right there at this spot. So, Amy's Chaos Control 2 stops you for 20 seconds for some reason. Not just 10 seconds. For 10 seconds. So there you go. Ignore this. Ignore the great gameplay. I'm not doing like games done quick or anything like that. So don't sign me up for that. So you get 80, then immediately
That happens.
you're down. And then you get another 10, and then stop time. And then another 10. You die completely. This player cannot move at all when this is happening too. So.
And it's noteworthy. I believe it's only Amy. With Amy, the game still continues moving when you're paused, if you're paused by Amy's attack.
Exactly.
So if you're on a rail, you're gonna die.
So who's really the ultimate life form?
So
That's the real question.
that is the real question.
Amy is the ultimate life form.
No, she's the ultimate stalker.
That's actually going to be the plot of the
Actually, though.
Someone actually told you that Dr. Joe Robotnik and Black Doom were creating Shadow. They were actually creating Amy.
Don't spoil the plot of Sonic Adventure 3.
And Shadow is Amy.
Ah, he's onto something, I think, actually. He's onto something. Tell what? Exactly. Yes, question.
Quick question about the kart racing before we move on.
Yeah.
Were you able to use the unlockable karts?
Yeah, I believe you get him after a specific set of.
I think you have to get you either have to complete every mission with a certain character or get A ranks in every mission with a certain character.
I believe so. Yeah, I actually haven't looked at it in a specific playthrough, but
So far I've only gone Rouge and Shadow.
I barely played that multiplayer, honestly. Just the controls are very flimsy.
I only did the single player once for the emblems.
I can't blame the same here, so we're gonna speed this up because I have like about 4 more games to talk about. So let's just very quickly discuss Sonic Heroes here. Anyone played Sonic Heroes?
So you guys remember how you're supposed to team up with your friends in Sonic Heroes? You don't do that in Sonic Heroes multiplayer.
Yeah, I was actually telling him I was about to talk about Sonic Heroes, and he was talking. Oh, cool, co-op.
Yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah,
No co-op.
yeah.
That's gonna be.
You're saying that the multiplayer mode is better than the single player mode.
Yes. With Sonic Heroes, you basically unlock each multiplayer mode every 20 emblems you collect. So you win 20, you unlock something. I will show some of the very basic ones very quickly. I don't know how many of you played Sonic Heroes, but sometimes when you choose a team, you fight against a different team. So for example, you do like a battle mode when you fight against like a different team. And it involves a lot of like, every 5 seconds, which is incredibly sweet. This is my favorite part, by the way. You have to knock enemies off of the arena, and then when you're just down to 2, especially the flying characters, they only move each other like this.
Happy slap!
Think like bumper balls like Mario Party times like 100, basically.
And there's no time limit.
Essentially, yes. There's also a bobsled run as well. So if you like that one segment in that one level in Seaside Hill, you have a mode to play it. Somehow.
Wait, is this Team Sonic Racing released?
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Does anyone here who loves the special stages in Sonic Heroes? Anyone? Anyone a big fan of those?
We got one.
Anyone a big fan of those? Well, they put themselves in multiplayer mode in Sonic Heroes as well.
Oh, yeah!
And it runs in glorious 30 frames per second with some
What about the PS2 version? Oh.
This is those moments when I wish I had like some Call Me Johnny censored moment to go on. I'm not going to, but for some reason they give you like 3 stages to work with, and it's just not fun. It's so unfun actually that this is me, my friend, and the emerald is just going away from us. Like we can't even catch it. And no one wins, we all lose. It's basically just that at the end, you all lose, you play this game.
The Emerald is escaping to a better multiplayer mode.
The emerald is running away from the stage, that's what it's doing.
Should be based off.
Go ahead. There's also some very basic other modes like ring race, which is basically who collects the most rings win. That's kind of it when it comes to that. Nothing too special. And the rest of it is pretty much like the regular levels of Sonic Heroes. I'm putting this on because actually it's one of my favorite levels in Sonic Heroes, personally. Let's put it this way for you guys know what makes Sonic Adventure 2's multiplayer, at least in my opinion, pretty fun. I just want you to shut up for a bit. Is the fact at least they give you like full levels to play. Like you choose City Escape, you play almost through the whole City Escape or the whole Green Forest, Final Rush. If this is a length of a Sonic Heroes regular level, this is the amount of the actual level you get to play in multiplayer in Sonic Heroes.
Well, to be fair, the levels are too long anyway.
They are too long, but it does feel like you only play for maybe like a minute out of like the 8 of them. So yeah, I do agree, the levels in Sonic Heroes in general are very long, but compared to what they give you in Sonic Adventure 2, where they give you more of the level to play, it feels really,
It's essentially the Sonic 3 to Sonic 2's multiplayer.
yeah, that's a good way to put it actually. I would definitely agree with that. But it could get worse. Oh boy, can it get much. Much. 5 years later, much worse than Sonic Heroes. So, I don't. How many of you knew that Shadow the Hedgehog even had multiplayer before coming? Oh, that's actually really good.
So in a game called Shadow the Hedgehog, what do you think the playable characters are like in the multiplayer? They're all Shadow.
They're all Shadow. They all get Shadow. I got Shadow pretty much in that whole character. Nothing like also, by the way, playing a game where every single like prompt of the button is a gunshot. Like you choose something and you bang.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is your character select right here. You have regular Shadow, you have yellow Shadow, you have purple Shadow.
Original character.
Exactly. Blue, orange, and green.
Wow, they're so perfect. It's moving obsolete.
Addo the hedgehog, do not steal.
Do not steal.
He is faster than Sonic. Do not steal. This is my original character.
No, I don't really want to spend too time about Shadow the Hedgehog. We all know it's not a good game. I will say just a few things very quickly. The only real difference in the characters is that those 2 shadows on top, they can use whatever guns they have, but they have limited ammo. The bottom 4, like the android shadows, you can say, can just use 1 weapon but with unlimited ammo. That's pretty much it. And the worst part is that what they do is that they give you a pretty big arena to fight in, but it's only a 2-player multiplayer. So you basically most of the time not even shooting your friend, in the game, by the way, in the game. Not in real life, please. You just look for each other pretty much. It's like a tag more than an actual fight.
And if you remember how Shadow the Hedgehog controls,
Oh god.
It's so stiff. And the split screen really doesn't give you a really good idea of where you're located, if the aiming is terrible. I mean,
there's no map.
There's no map whatsoever to show you. I mean, the map granted can tell you where your enemy is, but it still makes it difficult to even know spatially where you're located, which is just abysmal. Also, every single music in the multiplayer for Shadow is Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
The same, but it's just like the first 10 seconds of Radical Highway, over and over and over again.
It could be the only thing we heard that time.
You know what? I wanted to maybe save this for later, but I will officially christen this as the worst multiplayer mode in any Sonic game. It's that bad. It's absolutely You know what the funny part is about all this?
It's also the worst single player mode.
What is Sonic Booster? Anyway, I don't want to ruin this punchline. And I'm saying this too. Considering the fact we have Sonic 06 to talk about. Yeah, I'll have to talk 3 hours of why the multiplayer mode is terrible here. I mean, it's really similar to all the other ones. It's just pretty much a race, to the finish. But whose great idea was it? I only have one basic question about the multiplayer of Sonic 06. Whose great idea was it to give Silver the option of racing Sonic and Shadow?
Wait, if you are playing as Silver, you're getting around this famous line. When you're playing as Silver, it's no you.
I'm getting to that. No, but just look here. Like, it's not even fair.
The reason
There is some use there. There is some level of use.
There is one reason to use Silver. Maybe not the other player.
Well, I'm actually getting to that, funny enough. Silver has absolutely, no chance of beating Sonic and Shadow in a race, except for one instance. And that's basically when... I'm getting to that.
Catches them.
Like, say, for example, you see a friend, you're right there, and they cannot escape whatsoever.
It's no use.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh my god. Wait, what?
Zoom very carefully at the lower and the bottom. Because one of the things you can keep your other friend. Actually, no, it's not a friend anymore. It's your enemy after this. Stop like this. At least I didn't use it. That wasn't even intentional. I can't believe this wasn't even intentional, but I actually got that. So.
Oh my god.
No, it's the same thing like the gems with Sonic. Like Sonic has their special gems that give special powers, but they don't deplete for Sonic. So if you play as Sonic and you use the purple gem that makes him shrink, you can skip the whole level. And Shadow and Silver essentially cannot do anything about it. And there you go.
Oh, there goes Devin.
There you go. That was a shorter one actually.
Yeah, Sonic 06 out of 100.
This is like the regular battle mode. In Sonic 06, there's also this thing called Tag, which essentially, it's like the only co-op mode in all the multiplayer games, funny enough, because sometimes you need two characters to stand on switches together to open the next door, which is what you have to do. But here's the weird part. You share lives, but each character has their own number for some reason. So if someone dies, they both go down. Like they both turn from 2 to 1. And then if one dies, here's a good example. Like look very closely here. Shadow didn't die and he lost a life for some reason.
I'm very surprised the frame rate is.
I'm very. It's actually running at 60 frames per second. That's amazing.
It's pretty good.
Well, I mean, that's not the PS3 version is probably worse, but yeah.
Sonic goes 60 frames per second. I can come up with this all day.
We all can. I mean, I still think. Here's the thing. Just on the virtue of playing a Silver and making your Sonic or Shadow stuck in place the whole time, it edges above Shadow the Hedgehog just for that reason alone. Next up is we're going to Sicker Rings. Sadly, yeah. Here's the thing. I'll be 100% honest. Have you played Sonic Sicker Rings? Go ahead, tell us a bit about your experience.
Do you guys like the Wii mode? I don't.
You can't even The tutorial.
No, I'll definitely show that for sure. But I want to also state that Sonic 06 honestly is kind of a guilty pleasure to me. It's terrible, terrible game, but I find some weird enjoyment, like the whole silver sticking like the other character, stuck in the multiplayer. That's kind of, it gives me joy. This game though, well here's the thing. In Sonic 06, when you press jump, your character jumps. Here, half the time you try to lift the remote, it doesn't work. So,
Who needs buttons when you have like
well, you just do this. If I want to do this, I'll go to a gym.
Oh, somebody decided to swipe that for the Samba de Amigo for it to Wii.
Exactly. So, what's really weird about you can call the multiplayer in Sonic and the Secret Dreams kind of like a sequel to Sonic Shuffle in a way. So it's 4 players, like party game essentially, and you can choose between several characters: Sonic, Tails, those other guys, and you can also unlock more characters. I don't want to bother unlocking them because, and then you also have the main mode, which is basically you have to go through like all those different treasure chests, and if you win a mini game, you open a treasure chest, and you have to basically get the most treasures by the very end of it, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen a less fun party game.
Not that. I would say that it's probably one of the ugliest Sonic games ever made. Like the color scheme of it is actually very ugly. And I'm not a graphic snob in any way, but it just looks very drab and boring. And the Wii can do better than this. The Wii can do Mario Galaxy. Come on. So here's one of my favorite mini games of the whole thing. You have to spend 60 seconds to find one treasure chest. And once you find the best treasure chest, you essentially wait 55 seconds.
What?
I'm not sure. You have to grab the Wiimote, see if it makes the most noise, and once you find the best one, you're just like, okay, you're done. That's pretty much it. That's not even the worst part, actually.
The best item, you just win.
I just want to try to find the time code for this. Here we go.
Keep this playing.
Isn't it riveting, guys? Isn't this amazing?
Intriguing. Soundtrack, so are always the best in this show.
Yeah, everyone likes pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa over and over. I mean, if you really like some music in your games, there's also, of course, the amazing violin game. Because whenever I think of Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm thinking of violin. Well, you're supposed to move the Wiimote like according to the genie over there, and let's just hear how it sounds. By the way, I want to clarify, my score at the end was 69, just saying. Anywho, moving on.
You're gonna have to play this on the world's smallest violin.
I see what you did there. I will just talk about this other video game very quickly. After the last one I really want to talk about.
Good.
Just to show you, this was the age where everyone on the Wii wanted to have a game with motion controls.
Yep.
Sometimes it just doesn't work. No. In this specific mini game, you just have to use this net to grab those little Knuckles. I'm going to show you. I was playing Knuckles here. I swear I was being steady here. Just to clarify.
Well, okay.
Oh my god. Beautiful. Got one.
In this case, you probably have better than Apple.
Like, if you guys remember, like, how the Wii Motion Plus was Motion 1-to-1.
Yeah.
This is 0-to-0.
That's all I want to do.
Guys, you know what? We don't really have much time left for like the last 8 minutes or so, so I think we all deserve to end this on a pretty high note. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Should we give him a good multiplayer game to finish this off?
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about last year's darling and one of my recent favorite games, Sonic Mania. That stuff and just like reaching the shore, like water, water, and Sonic Mania is like the little like denizen that gives you the water, like here you go, sir, and I'm alive now. How do I come up with that stuff sometimes? So you played Sonic Mania, obviously.
Many times, yes.
So what's your general experience with it?
Mania is, in my opinion, the best Sonic game ever made. I'll say it. I feel it just, I know it's a lot of remade levels and like, you know, remastered levels, if you will, but to me, it was the first one that I played, I beat it, and I immediately went back and beat it 2, 3, 4 more times. So I love it.
I wasn't like completely childhood biased towards Sonic 3, I would 100% agree with you, but it's like almost there. So with Mania, what I really like about Mania is that obviously it takes a lot of cues from the old Sonic games. The main thing is pretty much from Sonic 2, which takes the multiplayer of Sonic 2 and basically builds up upon it.
It took 20 years to get back to this.
So essentially, okay. So essentially, you actually can play as any of the characters, and they actually control the way they should. So Sonic has a drop dash, Tails can fly, Knuckles can glide. Unlike the Sonic 2 multiplayer, you can actually change what your monitors can be. So it can be only teleporters, it can be all random, or it can be like the same setup as the actual items in Sonic Mania. And you can also change the amount of rounds you can. So you can have just a very short game, 1 round, or you can go even all the way up to 12, I believe? 12 rounds, if you're nuts like me.
Ambitious.
Which I'm really insane, so I actually did this one time.
And unlike Sonic 2, this has most of the game status available in some way, shape, or form. Or at least it has 12 status compared to 5 or 4?
It was 3 in Sonic 2 if you don't include a special stage, so here you kind of have like
you get
12.
You get a good chunk of the game that you can play.
And thankfully, a lot of the stages that it shows here are actually really good stages. You have the Green Hill Zone. Nothing happens. You have Chemical Plant, you have Studiopolis. You have even Hydro City, like the good Hydro City level. I like Hydro City, okay?
What did you say?
Hydro City! I don't care! The only thing about Sonic Mania's multiplayer in general that's a little bit weird about it is the fact, obviously, the game is in widescreen, so when the screen is crunched, everything is also kind of stretched. Yeah. You get used to it, but that's like my only like gripe, you could say. But it's the whole level, and it's still very fun. Anyone has a request on a level they want to see very quickly? Press Garden. Press Garden. Oh yes. You have good taste. Press Garden is like one of my. It's Press Garden. Such a good level. My favorite level, I would say. Press Garden 2 is my favorite, like, act of all Sonic Mania right there. It's just breathtaking. I wish they had Press Garden 1, they only have Press Garden 2. But it's absolutely fun. Last thing I'll also say about Sonic Mania very quickly is that fun fact. Have any of you ever played the Daytona racing games ever on the Dreamcast?
Oh, yep. Yeah, Dreamcast?
Yeah, you know Daytona, if you ever heard that. The announcer says basically like, goal! And all that stuff. He's the same guy who sang the Daytona theme song. Daytona!
I played it on Saturday.
Well, obviously you also know that Mania also have the Puyo Puyo thing as well. I don't have the footage for that actually, but there's that too, if you want to play it. Yeah, Puyo Puyo. Bean Bean. Yeah, Puyo Puyo. Bean Bean Machine, whatever you want to call it. And as we close pretty much this panel right now, I guess the last thing I would like to mention also is that Sonic Mania Plus is actually coming out next month, actually. And that will actually have 4-player competition mode, which is nuts because you can play with all the characters, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Ray, and Mighty, which I've no idea how they're going to play that. That'll be pretty interesting. No big though. July 17th, yeah.
Okay, so it's a new action.
Exactly. And I really hope that it's going to live up to Sonic Mania, maybe some more levels, would be nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Anyone wants to see Press Garden 1 and Sonic Mania Plus as a multiplayer level? I'm the only one. Yeah, and that's pretty much, I think that's concluding it, so to say, I want to say. So, I want to first thank you all for coming, guys. It's actually a big kind of monumental moment for me to host a panel of TooManyGames, and I'm very honored to be here. And I'm very My friends here helping with the cameras today. Thank you all very much, guys. And my good buddy, Golden Ball. Give me the Golden Ball! He is my Knuckles to my Sonic, okay?
We did not plan that.
We did not. I'm the Sonic, he's the Knuckles. It just happened that way. It's the best wardrobe malfunction ever.
I love it. I love it.
In any case, thank you very much for coming, guys. Enjoy the rest of your con. Take care.
And that was my Too Many Games 2018 experience. I'm sure there's a lot more I could have said, and a lot of things I forgot. Like I said, this is still entirely unscripted, but I wanted to make this brief, and I didn't want to have it sit in the editing pipeline for 2 months or whatever. If you made it this far, obviously it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank you very much for watching. The watch time is very appreciated. Geez, this is a long video. But I hope you enjoyed. If you did go to Too Many Games, let me know down in the comments. Or if you're going to go next year, let me know, because I'd love to meet you next year. I know for sure, come hell or high water, I'm going to make it next year for my 5th year at Too Many Games. And this time, I'll actually film things. I always say I'm going to film things, and I never do, just because I feel weird poking a camera in front of a bunch of strangers' faces. I guess I'll get over that one day. But again, as always, thank you very much for watching, and stay golden.
You fucking suck.